Brian here from quantlabs.net. What you're looking at is a spreadsheet I've been working on for the last couple of days, and basically what it is the various modeling, strategy, algorithm topics that I've been not working on, but showcasing over the last 2 years since I've been running my premium membership for more quantlab.net visitors. Now, I've segregated them into various sections, one being R, one being Matlab, and everything that comes with Matlab, plus another area of focus is Simulink, as well as R, of all things. Probably didn't expect that one. And some open source stuff being the trading platform that I'm interested in, TradeLink, and QuantLib, which is an open source quant library, obviously. Now, what I've got here is a section. Okay, so all of these are various topics that will be pumped through various courseware products and courses, I guess you could say, that I'll be putting online that will be downloadable and will be provided with video. Some are 10 minutes long, some are up to half an hour. Some have a combination over an hour, and as well as not that, but I do provide a lot of source code examples that come with these. Now, you know, just so people understand, is that if you're coming in from a very introductory level of programming, introductory level of math, you may find these a little advanced. I mean, you have to realize I've been spending a lot of time on these for the last couple of years. Doesn't mean you can't do it. It just when you first glance at these, they may kind of overwhelm you. But let's talk about them. First, just look at the number we have here. We're approaching over 200. Now, again, these are topics. Now, again, some include algorithm, some of them include source files, some of them include videos. Now, can you imagine? That's over 200 topics, bare bones minimum, plus at the other end I do have multiple videos and algorithms and code samples that go with each of these topics, so it could be well over 200. So let me just show you how I segregated these. First, I've got HFT modeling. It's clearly my number one, most popular topic that people want to understand. So what I've done in this section, which again will be segregated into probably multiple subsections within an online course. They'll just have different levels, but you can see there's over 36. So here's just a variety of examples. So say you want to calculate your map market impact costs, doing co-integration, auto-regression, measuring liquidity. There's a lot of math here. Gives you a lot of trading trader's edge, I guess you could call it, which is important in this day and age if you're going to be, because other traders are your competition, not just that, but also the markets and whoever else is out there that is what we'll call a market participant. Now, we've got other topics covering tick data for bid-ask spread, liquidity arbitrage. I'm just randomly picking these, obviously Sharpe ratio, volatility modeling. It pretty well covers a lot of areas, and this is going to easily be the most popular section, I think, that of all the courses that we'll be offering. And then we come into what's proving to be probably our second most popular is the R modeling, because obviously R is free, it's open source, so people can obviously work with it out of the box with $0 investment. So we've got these covered. Now, before I let you know, on the HFT modeling, what I provide is a video. I do a code walkthrough, or not a walkthrough, but some kind of walkthrough on what I think would work best. As well as I go through and provide like a text equation. There's also a latex interpretation of that. The general consensus is just an algorithm. It's an equation. That's what I'm giving here. And I'm hoping from this I can easily adapt these and put these into a MATLAB environment, enable it to be usable in a MATLAB workspace, and then eventually be able to implement them into actually simulating. I'll talk about that in a minute, and then hopefully turn that into a code generation. So this can be easily said for both MATLAB and this section here in the HFT modeling, is that even though if you might not be able to afford MATLAB, let's say, you know, what I'm hoping to generate in the C code from these, you can easily implement into a trading platform. And again, TradeLink is looking to be the top contender. I've worked with it for a while. I kind of like it. It's not the perfect solution, obviously, but from my perspective, if you're just starting out from literally zero, it's a good platform to work from. And the other big thing is, it's not a black box. You get actual source code, so you can debug the processes and stuff. It's a very critical area for online or trading success, I think. Anyway, so back to the R modeling. The same idea as the HFT. I've got here various different conditions. Now, if I went through this, there's about 55 of these topics in R, so it's pretty vast. What I've done was I went through pretty well online looking for anything that you can apply in trading. This was done about a year ago. I'm sure there's a lot of updates in the world of R, but this is a pretty strong foundation on covering what R can do, and again, the different scenarios that are possibly out there for trading. So for instance, again, I'm randomly picking this mean reversion, currency graph with arbitrage, obviously for Forex, lots of GARCH, time-based opportunities in tick data, why low latency is needed in HFT. There's a demo on that. I remember that specifically. Again, volatility with VIX, parallelization with R for predicting, analyzing, and building. Got Bayesian, ARMA, I did a lot of ARMA and ARIMA. Markov chain, again, mean reversion, portfolio, position size with moving average, SMA examples, all the classic alpha, beta, gamma, ARIMA, as I said, mean absolute deviation, using the efficiency frontiers. So you can see mean reverting logic, calculating the spread, and beta calculation. Okay, so again, most of these have been pretty well hand-picked off the internet. A lot of them did not come with R. I got them to a state where they do run, and I'll also provide a R code walkthrough. Now this is going to be another set of courses or sub sections within an R course. Again, right now I'm building the content for this. It's going to take me a while. When I'm ready to launch, this will be ready for my QuantLabs.net Premium members, and then we'll roll it out as a separate product line for any new users. As you can tell, it's a lot here just in the R and the HFT modeling. This is very vast. So even for an entire trading operation, you can imagine some of the power that this could bring as you try to understand from the ground up on how to do strategy development, and specifically in something like R or just for high frequency trading purposes or automated trading purposes, which this section, the HFT modeling, can easily be applied to. So as I mentioned, I'm not going to get into this too much. Trading platform with TradeLink. I've got some videos on this. I'm going to turn this into a much more affordable course for people that are interested in TradeLink. Bridge, so you can connect into R Matlab directly. I have a method of getting around that. I'm going to show you that in a minute. It's a much better process. It's a lot more complicated, but it's a better process. So, as I've told you before, I like MATLAB. I like MATLAB a lot. No, I forgot QuantLib. There's a big section on QuantLib with QuantLib Excel, using it with an Excel spreadsheet or a worksheet in Excel, how to build all this stuff, how to work with it. It's a really, really powerful library. So I'm going to turn that into a separate course as well. But as everybody's really interested in is modeling and trade strategies. That's the crust of what builds trading operations. So this set of sections here is the entire MATLAB ecosystem. You've heard my opinion on MATLAB versus R. Like I said, I do have R here. It does cover a lot that MATLAB doesn't. MATLAB could probably most likely do the same stuff that what R has here, but as I always say, why recreate the wheel when it already exists, when it's already posted online? And that's my approach when it comes to R versus MATLAB. I'm using them both, that's what I'm saying. So between these modeling and these R modeling topics, yes, there will be a lot of overlap. And if there is, obviously I'll put more focus on, or priority on, the MATLAB, just due to the fact that I have a lot more confidence with a lot of the toolboxes and the functionality you'll get with those toolboxes, which is just goes through a more stringent vetting process because it's coming out of MathWorks, and obviously it's a much more expensive product. So I've got a variety of examples here of more specific to math, less on trading. This is more geared towards quant. These are using pure math principles that can be applied to quant, and I'm basing it upon my experience from all the buzzy names that I keep hearing out there. And you know, it's basically working with these math principles and applying to how the data flows from the different market feeds, and applying these principles of math into those data flows and building models and strategies around that. So when I go through this list, you'll see that there is going to be more math principles. And the other thing, just so people understand the history of how this was built, I've gotten my access to all the PDF user guides that are available for all the toolboxes, for all the different MATLAB M scripting functions out there. So this is where these come from. These are already existing examples. There's a lot more out there that I haven't even really looked at, but these are just honestly a very small sampling of that, a small subset of what's potentially out there with these user guides. But the sad thing is, these are only available to licensed users. These most likely will not be online for public use. So if you're wanting to get your hands on stuff like this, this is probably the only place outside of MATLAB itself or MathWorks to get access to this. But this is what industry is using. And again, these are math principles, so they may be a little more advanced for most people, but I do feel that as an independent trader, and distinguishing yourself from, let's say, a retail trader versus somebody who's a lot more advanced with a lot more tools in their toolboxes, I'd like to call it, or your arsenal, because it's going to come down to basically what your model and your trading strategy will need to outdo your neighbor's trading strategy, or at least a lot more creative processes that will need to be part of that. So let me just show you this. This is very, very extensive, and again, let me just do a rough calculation. So half of the topics I'm about to show you represent almost half of the entire set of topics here. Now, let me just tell you this. This is just, again, the tip of the iceberg, because I can easily add on another 300 to 400 algorithms very quickly, scaling it up. And that can be done as well. But the only problem for anybody who's not using MATLAB, it's MATLAB. So again, you can probably see the difference between something like R and MATLAB. And this is why paying for something far outweighs something that's for free. So let me just show you. What I've done was, so everybody can follow the process here, is I've listed a variety of topics, plus I've also broken out everything by toolboxes as well. So let me show you that, and at the end I'll show you another capability of MATLAB that most people have never thought about, and you can only get, again, only through myself and quantlabs.net. So let's start talking about MATLAB itself. So you can see there's just, I'm gonna just focus on the core stuff first, which is this that I'm talking about here. So what we're looking at are things like Bollinger charting. I know there's a technical analysis section using all these indicators, a time series demo, visualizing a time series, talking about Garch and RMax. There's a lot of that. Using a GUI tool client for financial time series, calculating unit roots, a lot of regression, understanding the performance metrics of your strategies. Also, classic things like, again, a lot of people are interested in mean reverting maximum likelihood, ordinary least squares, all that math stuff. Now, a lot of this also focuses on forecasting. Garch is really good. Arima's really good, but they're different, but I show that. Also, there's a lot of integration with C++ and Excel. Here's an interesting one. Excel importing with market data. Okay, using the MATLAB Economic Metrics Toolbox. And again, Garch, lots of Garch. Mean reversion. Okay, we've talked about that. Okay, let's talk about the toolboxes. So we got the first one, which is the curve fitting toolbox. We talked about the very powerful capabilities of visualization and plotting with MATLAB. There's the curve fitting techniques, smoothing. You can use curve fitting programmatically, and all this other stuff. Surface fitting tools. Now, the next toolbox is kind of interesting. And I find this, I've not yet seen this anywhere else out there. The system identification toolbox is very powerful, where you can set maybe an RMax model, and even neural net, and all that kind of powerful stuff. And you can use this toolbox to predict a time series. So essentially, you take your market data and you can build prediction models out of that using this one toolbox. Now, there's different ways to go about it. When you start working with MATLAB, you can do it through a GUI, you can do it through a command line. If you can do it through a command line, it means it's programmatic. And if you're doing it through a code generator, and you'll see some of these examples in some of the videos where I get really excited, where you can actually take a visual representation of what you're working with through the GUI, if you don't know, it's a graphical user interface. So you can build something in MATLAB using a GUI tool, and be able to generate code from it. And that is a very powerful and a big time saver when it comes to researching and prototyping within MATLAB. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming out of this with the system identification, and this is, out of all of them, this is the most interesting area for me. Okay, so let's talk about math. Obviously everything's all built around math, but this can kind of get very advanced for people that are not into math, like myself, and I'm actually still struggling with a lot of this. Understand decomposition, eigenvalues, vectors, Cholesky, LU, DR, ordinary differential equations with PDE, and blah blah blah. I'm not going to get into that too much, but you get the idea. And of course, interpolation. Optimization. Most quants that I've talked to don't like optimization, and when I went through this, I'm just showing this as an option. I'm not saying do it, but it's just as an option. That's it with this XStart tool. Okay, now with the signal toolbox, we have different types of signal processing. You can identify a correlation with that, and I show that. And the stats, again, obviously a lot of the quant is built off of stats, so obviously there's going to be a lot coming out of this in this toolbox, focusing on copulas, linear regression, covariance, ANOVA, k-means distribution, differentiation tools and fitting tools within the GUI tool. This one seems to get a lot of respect as a Markov chain, so there's that as well. PCA is another area that seems a lot of people are interested in as well. So that's going to has some stuff. Now, wavelets, I'm not sure if people are actually using this, but if it's out there, I'm using these Brownian motion and multiple PCA. Now, I have mentioned Simulink. You've probably seen a lot of my Simulink stuff. Simulink is a very powerful way to build models and do it very rapidly. I'm not an expert by no means in Simulink, and there's also Stateflow as well, which is building a visual representation of your data and building a visual flowchart, you could call it, of the data and your different states and how you can transition from one state to another and do something. So with that, and with the power of C or C++ code generation, I show lots of, well, not a lot, but a few videos on that. I spent a lot of time on this. And I've also figured a way that you can easily generate DLLs from that. And what you could do from that is then you could easily implement that into a platform like TradeLink. And I have demos on that. And this is probably the third most popular topic because obviously these are important. So all in all, this is a general roadmap of what's going to come out over the next couple of weeks as we bring out this new, I'll call it product line, of course, whatever you want to call it. And again, my members are going to get access to this. But do realize over the coming weeks, I don't know, months, coming weeks, or whatever, I'll be segregating these two sections of the website. So essentially what I'm saying is my premium members will, at this point, current ones, will get access into these courses. But anyone else that wants access to these courses will not be treated as a Quant Labs premium member, meaning there'll be two separate products, two separate areas, two separate login access areas after a certain period. So what I'm saying is, if you become a QuantLabs.net member, premium member today or by that deadline, by that coming off date, you'll get access to both. And just so people understand, all this stuff currently exists in the premium membership. All they need to do really is to just basically type in this section or this title, and I'll bring up a posting on that within the QuantLabs.net premium membership. So you get a lot of benefit with this already, and it's already there. All I'm doing now is I'm just streamlining it, organizing it, just making it easier for people to flow through this. Because as you can tell, there's 200 topics. That will easily overwhelm people. I'm actually overwhelmed by it. But the powerful thing is that I have now a blueprint of everything, and I have different types of strategies, types of trading models that pretty well I'm hoping can cover a lot of the different areas within market conditions, basically. So it's a pretty good deal right now. I'd strongly recommend you get in on this. My next goals, and this is for the premium members only, pretty well, is to take what I feel that I can somehow integrate some of these topics into my TradeLink, we'll call it operation, right? So that's what I'm hoping to do over the next 6 months. And that obviously I'll be able to have better metrics on what works, what doesn't work. And again, I've done this with ARIMA in R, and what I can tell you is just because you have a trading model does not mean it universally works. It will respond differently on different timing frequencies, and it will also respond differently on market asset types. So there's a variety of different conditions that will make a trading strategy work and not work. And I'm going to go through that over the next however long it takes. But it's a very exhaustive period, basically. So that's where we're at, and I'm hoping to build something very powerful with all this, using TradeLink and R and Matlab, and obviously code generation from both Matlab, Simulink, and Stateflow. Hopefully you see that too, and obviously I'll be doing live webinars on this topic, and we're going to get very advanced now with these topics. And hopefully I'll see you on the other side, as I always say. Talk to you later.